Oh, hi everybody, how you doing? It's Ezra Levant here. It's August 19th, and this is our daily live stream on YouTube. YouTube calls it a super chat because you can, as you see to the right of your screen, there's a live stream chat, lots of people with things to say. You can make your comment stand out in a bright color, and it's appended to the top of that little chat window by chipping in a few dollars of whatever local currency is. And I got my laptop right here. So out of the corner of my eye, I see those and I read them out. I like to read all the super chats. And if I miss them, Justin, our producer, brings them to my attention later. So I do usually get through all of them. What's great about those super chats is that we get to keep 70% of the revenue. Like all conservative pages, we're largely demonetized by YouTube. They take a 30% cut of the super chat, but they do remit the other 70% to us. So it's an important source of revenue for us in this day and age. And we do not take government funding. I just realized I didn't put on my makeup today. I don't look that awful, do I? I think you look great. Thanks very much. I think you look great too. Maybe afterwards, you and I just grab a cup of coffee or something. Just get away from everyone here. Just you and me. Maybe just get away for a weekend or something. I'm joking around. I'm having a good joke. Normally I wear TV makeup because I'm just so uggers, and I have rosacea, which means I look like my face is red all the time. It gets worse with sun, spicy foods, and alcohol, which is basically the big three, as I call them. Anyways, I'm sorry that you have to gaze upon me in high def. Maybe we can reduce the resolution. Maybe we just stream this thing in 128. Is that KPS? Is that what they call that? Yeah, just like the lowest res, sort of like an old Motorola phone or something. Anyways, my apologies for looking like I do. I'm born this way. You know what? Can you call up that tweet I did about how I got married? I was looking at a tweet today called 129 Ways to Get Married. And it looks like it was an old-time advice column in a newspaper with a bit of a sense of humor, but I think there's some real practical tips here. This was advice to women. I tweeted the image this morning, and I'm guessing this was from the 50s, maybe the 40s, judging by the fonts here. 129 ways to get a husband. And I was looking through this. There's some funny ones here. Get lost at football games. Get a job demonstrating fishing tackle in a sporting goods store. Yeah. Go to all reunions of your high school or college, number 23. There may be widowers there. Don't be afraid to associate with more attractive girls. They may have some leftovers. I like that confidence builder right there. Don't room with a girl who is a sad sack and let her pull you down to her level. Oh, I like number 40. Go to number 40. Stand in the corner and cry softly. Chances are good that he'll come over to find out what's wrong. So two of these were how I got hooked. You know, bait the hook well. And indeed, number 17 and number 34, it's almost exactly how it happened. So this is advice to women. Number 17, be friendly to ugly men. Handsome is as handsome does. I don't think that's scientifically accurate. Be friendly to ugly men, ladies. Hey, ladies, looking for a husband? Be friendly to ugly men. Handsome is as handsome does. I don't think that's what handsome means. And number 34, wear a Band-Aid. People always ask what happened. So the combination of these two things is how my wife caught this absolute 10. This absolute most eligible bachelor. How did this happen? Who managed to put a ring on this action? Who managed to land the whale? Who brought this big ship into port? Who managed to do that? My missus, by following rules 17 and 34. Handsome is as handsome does. Wear a Band-Aid. Ladies, I am proof you can get yourself a man by following those rules. All right. We should set up Rebel Personals. Why not? You know, can you find it? In the UK, there's a guy named Toby for Toby Young, I just forgot his last name. And he's got these pandemic skeptic personals. I'm not even kidding. Lockdownskeptics.org. Can you go to lockdownskeptics.org? I'm pretty sure that they have a personals section now. Lockdownskeptics.org, personals. I don't find it right there, but they have this new dating site for Brexit-friendly pandemic skeptics. Maybe go on Toby's. I know it's 12:05 and I haven't even started. People are going to turn away in droves. If I didn't, yeah, go scroll up a bit. Yeah, forums. That's it. Lockdown skeptics, and then go on the forum. Is that the forum there? Can you pump up the size? Yeah, you found it. You found it. So first of all, go up to the top so we can show people. Lockdown skeptics. Stay skeptical. End the lockdown. Save lives. And what's the URL on that? Just lockdownskeptics.org. Is that right? Okay, so here's the forums. Oxfordshire Mail. Last post by help. Worcester Mail, 45, suffering from severe hancocophobia. He's, I think, the health minister. Any gay guys? Southampton. So is it just those ones there, or is there more? If you click on love in a COVID climate. Wow, look at all this. Is it just guys? Any gay guys? Bloke, 43, seeking female. Bloke. Lonely. Yeah, click on that one. Go up a bit. Lone lady marooned in Oxford seeks sane male companion from anywhere. Well, there I was going about my business here in Oxford, cycling to the covered market, attending a lovely Sibelius concert at the Sheldonian, looking forward to spring walks to the trout and the perch when, whoosh, I woke up one day in March and found myself in North Korea. Now, I thought I knew a bit about travel. I'd worked for 10 years as an Air France flight attendant, but this was weird. I hadn't even gone to some bloomin' awful airport, and yet here I was. Here we all were being ordered to stay inside or go outside and clap. That's what they did in the UK. They clapped for nurses, or draw a rainbow, or not enjoy anything of the million little things that make us human. Some of my friends find this all quite normal. I don't. I've lived in Paris, Chicago, Vancouver, Florence. I've tootled around free as a bird for a good many years. Now all ways of escape are being closed down, and like Peter Finch in Network, I'm mad as hell and I'm not going to take it anymore. But I still intend to enjoy my life and find a way out of this craziness. I'd love to find a real bloke, that's what the Brits call a man, who would relish the company of a slim, fit, blonde travel writer in her 60s who loves cycling, nature, dancing. We'll send photo to the right replies. Good luck out there to all you in these strange, sad times. I'm happily married, and I am not in my 60s. I'm not even in my 50s. As you can see, people often say, "Are you 29? Are you 29? And I say, yeah, I just had the 19th anniversary of being 29. Pow! But I have to say, for our British viewers, if you are a British viewer, may I invite you to go to Lockdown Skeptics. That lady, I mean, she describes herself, she sounds like an attractive woman in her 60s, but more than that, she sounds normal. Am I right, Justin? I mean, first of all, she sounds funny. Second of all, she's a good writer, which you would expect from Oxford. Third of all, she's not like a crazy. She's saying everybody else is crazy. She's saying I lived in Paris, which is an amazing city. Florence, which is an amazing city. Chicago, parts of which are an amazing city. I think she even said, did she say Toronto in there or something? I think she had some Canadian place in there. Vancouver, which is a great city. I think Vancouver is definitely one of the best cities in Canada. So I'm not here to give dating advice. A lot of people ask me for it. A lot of people say, Ezra, give me advice to the lovelorn, they say. I did. I just posted 129 ways to get a man. And I told you the secret combination, Rule 17, Rule 34. Go to the fugly ones, you know. Go to the last one picked for high school sports. You know, when they alternate picking for teams, who's the last guy picked? Start there, ladies. And then the Band-Aid thing always works. Always works. All right, I can't believe there's still 663 people watching right now. I haven't driven them all away. But that lockdown skeptics, singles, if I were single in the UK, I would absolutely be on there because, you know, happily married man, long time married, long time off the scene. Sorry, ladies. I know whenever I flash this thing, there are a million sighs. Oh, another one got away. How did he get away? You know, I get that a lot. I get that a lot. And when I was single back, I think it was in the 20th century, whenever that was, the whole woke thing wasn't a real deal. I mean, you know what? When we worked at Sun News Network, I heard this a lot, you know, because we had a lot of, on the show, we had female producers, Ricky and Hannah and Megan, and we had a lot of gals working on the show. And I would hear, Justin, did you ever hear this? Ricky, and I don't think she would mind me telling her story because she's told it so many times, that she would go out on a date, and I hope I'm not telling tales out of school because this is her story, and things were going swimmingly. Where do you work? Da, da, da. Where do you work? Oh, I work at Sun News Network. Oh, really? And the Sun News Network was the precursor to Rebel News. And Ricky would say that was a deal breaker for a lot of left-wing guys. To which I would say, well, you don't want to be with those left-wing guys. And, you know, it's not even left-wing. It was a deal breaker for the other guy. It wasn't a deal breaker, and it's not my story to tell, but it was the guy who said it was a deal breaker. It wasn't Ricky who said it was the guy. Oh, you work for Sun News. Oh, you work for Ezra's show. Oh, you work for and you know, you would say, well, if that's the kind of loser it is, you don't want to be with him. But that, you know, okay, so you go home by yourself and, you know, woo, you know, I don't want to be with that. It's not nice. And that was back in the day. Imagine now when the woke hurricane is in full effect. I can't imagine online dating in the year 2020. I think what you would have to do is wear a red Make America Great Again hat on in your photo. You know why? Because you would want to scare off anyone who would, I mean, why not pre-sort? Why not, as salesmen say, pre-qualify your leads? You don't want to waste time and have that come up in your first or second date over. This is dating advice. Just let's do some dating advice. People come to me and say, Ezra, do you have any thoughts about ethical oil? Yes, I do. I've written a book about it. Ezra, do you have any thoughts about the pandemic? Yes, I do. I wrote a book about it called China Virus. Ezra, do you have any thoughts about global warming? Yes, I do. I wrote a book about it called Fight Kyoto. Ezra, you got a lot of thoughts on a lot of things. You're a real expert. You're a real opinion leader. You're a thinkfluencer. You're a thinkfluencer. You're thinking fluently. You're influencing the thinking. You're a thought leader. So tell us dating advice, Ezra. I mean, you're a hell of a catch. How did you fight off all the ladies? How did you choose? That's what we're doing today, people. Dating advice. To hell with it. I got a whole list of things. No, throw it out. Throw it out. Dating advice. It's a dating advice show. Dating advice, piece of information, advice number 1. Wear a MAGA hat, especially if you're in Canada or the United Kingdom. If you're in the United States, people say, oh, he's a Republican. Okay, If you're in Canada, the United Kingdom, Australia, New Zealand, other places like that, and you wear a Make America Great Again hat, you are saying, I affiliate, associate, identify with that whole way of thinking. So you're emphatically saying, don't come around here if you're a canceller, if you're a socialist. And you might positively attract someone. So piece of advice number one, don't wait to the first date before you disclose your deep and dark inner secret. Put it right out there because you don't want to waste time. You don't want to waste time. Unless, this is another dating tip. Justin, are you taking notes here? We got some single people in the office. I hope they're all watching this. I hope they're all watching this. I'm trying the happy life I live. Yeah, that's me wearing a Make America Great Again hat, and that's my buddy Lauren Gunter. And I mean, I tell you, you look at these two guys on Tinder. Don't say Grindr. Don't say Grindr. I know what that is. You throw this picture up on Tinder, not Grindr, and you've got ping, ping. You've got mail on my old AOL.com email. You've got mail. You've got mail. Ping, 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 ping. And not just would-be mail-order brides from Belarusia and Moldova and Kazakhstan and Kyrgyzstan and Turkmenistan and Azerbaijan, Uzbekistan, Grozny. Beautiful ladies from Grozny. So you throw that hat on, put that back up there. Who's that handsome guy? Who's that handsome guy? Put that back up there. I'm giving tips. I'm giving tips. You don't want to show it again? The view count just plunged. You put that up there? Yeah. So you put that hat on there, you're sending all the, it's like pheromones. At pheromones. It's like from Anchorman, that cologne. 70% of the time, it works all the time. Pungent. Burns the nostrils a little bit. I don't know if you know that clip. It'll demonetize the clip, but feel free to. You know that 70% of the time, you know what? So I'm giving dating tips, if you're wondering what we're doing. Every day I do a show. Some politics, some dating tips. People look to me for advice. Ezra, should we vote for Peter MacKay, Erin O'Toole, Leslyn Lewis, or Derek Sloan? Ezra, should the Conservative Party of Canada have a policy that accepts the thesis of the Paris Accord on global warming, or should we reject that entire framework? Ezra, how do I find the love of my life? These are questions that I field every day. Gold Star, Rebel Luxury Skincare by Ezra Levant. I told you, I'm not wearing makeup. This is natural. I woke up looking this good. People, I rolled out of bed looking this good. True story. So tip number one to the lovelorn, advice to the lovelorn. Okay, I've got, here's some, you think I'm not giving you good advice? Okay, fine. You want to go elsewhere for your dating tips? Here's from the Anchorman. Who's smarter, me or this guy?
It's called Sex Panther by Odeon. It's illegal in 9 countries. Yep, it's made with bits of real panther, so you know it's good.
It's quite pungent.
Oh yeah.
Ooh, it's a formidable scent. It stings the nostrils. In a good way.
Yeah.
Brian, I'm gonna be honest with you, that smells like pure gasoline.
They've done studies, 60% of the time, it works every time.
That doesn't make sense.
It stings the nostrils in a good way. It's made with bits of real panther. That was a very funny movie. You can take my advice, or you could, go with the Panther cologne. So piece of advice number one, advice for the lovelorn, is put the MAGA hat in your Tinder, or what are the other sites? Do people still go to Bumble? Is Plenty of Fish still a thing? Is that still around even? You don't think so? That's like Friendster. That's like me talking about Friendster. Is J-Date still a thing? Throw the MAGA hat on J-Date. Whoa! J-Date stands for a Jewish date. You throw the MAGA hat up there, are you going to start a riot? But you might smoke out that odd Jewish Republican. I'm giving advice here. This is a value. You see this? You see this? That don't happen by accident. A strategy. A strategy. So piece of advice number one, throw the MAGA hat on. Piece of advice number two, if you want to save time, right? But if you're just looking for a free dinner, ladies, don't wear the MAGA hat. Go on the date. After you've eaten your entree, then mention your MAGA-finity, your MAGA-philia, your interest in the conservative side of the spectrum. Once the feller has already been, so he's a socialist. He believes in redistributing wealth. He believes in the Green New Deal. That's why you're eating in a vegan restaurant, having hummus or whatever. Fine. He believes in redistributing wealth. You go on date number one, reveal only after the bill is paid by him that you're a MAGA-maniac, and he just redistributed his wealth to you, and you just got free dinner. Dating advice. Is there anyone even left on the, hello, hello, hello? Is there anyone still watching? There's a few viewers. Okay. Let's read some super chats and then let's reboot today's show because I think I drove everyone away. So I'm just going to read the super chats. Oh, I just got a text from Yankee. I'm watching. Yankee, we will get you a bride, my friend. We will. The world must be peopled. Can you go to Much Ado About Nothing, Benedict, the world must be peopled? Yankee, there's no one else watching now, so it's just you and me. This is like a private Skype call. There's no one else watching anymore, so let me be extremely personal. Yankee, we have to get you wifed. There's just no two ways about it. You need gentle correction, my friend, in a loving way that I can't give you. I'm your friend, but I'm your boss, and I'm a guy. And we already talked about not being on Grindr. We need to get you a Mrs. Yankee. And there is someone out there for everyone. 7 billion people in the world. Let's say 3.5 million of them are ladies. Let's take everyone under the age 16 off the table and everyone over the age of 70 off the table. Let's rate. I'm hearing Justin saying, be careful. Okay, let's take everyone off. Well, what's the rule? Half your age plus 7. That rule was told to me by no one less than Stephen Harper himself. That's a true story. I first heard of the half your age plus 7 rule from Stephen Harper. This was before he was prime minister. So think about it. So how old's Yankee? The reason I say 16 is what's his age? 21? 22? 23? Okay, there's still laws. That's right. So, well, Trudeau lowered the age of consent, I think, to 14. No. Ew, yuck. I think 18 is probably safer. So let's say you're 24. I think Yankee's maybe 24. So half your age, 12 plus 7, 19. So you should never date younger than half your age plus 7. So Yankee, we're going to find you a wife. Let's get back on track here. I'm going to read some super chats. I just want to, Yankee, we care about you. Maybe we should start. Yankee says he's 25 next week, so I was right. So half your age, 12 and a half plus 7, 19. So Yankee should date no one younger than 20. And I don't think you want to go older than 40, Yankee. You have too much energy. You need someone young to keep up with you. We'll work on it. What do you think about having rebel singles, Justin? Is that a bad idea? See, I think that there would be a market for it. You don't know how much the office is single? Surely Mocha. You can't keep lightning in a bottle. Is Mocha single? I've never asked him. Well, ladies, you've got yourself a challenge there. Rule 17, wear a bandage and cry, sob gently. You know, I just want to say that maybe we can have a kissing booth with Mocha or something. I don't know. I tell you, whoever lands Mocha, you've got yourself a very special guy with very special hair. Can I get some photos of Mocha? Maybe some of his Instagram of his. That's the guy with a big hairdo that would, frankly, the lady in that relationship would have to have a strong personal sense of confidence, because you're going out with a fella who, by many measurements, is a better looker than you. I was lucky. I found a woman who can keep up with this. That's hard to do. That's hard to do. All right. We're going to delete all this. We'll delete all this later. So we'll just
and when I look at
we'll just delete all this later. Let's get back to the super chats. Mike C, $1, thank you very much. Did I miss some? Yeah. Truth on the Wind. Is that it there? Yeah. Truth on the Wind, $5. Miss C is growing in numbers, putting young people into ICU, and no one should return their children back to school till doctors know what is happening. I don't know exactly what MIS-C means, so I'm sorry. When you say no one should return their children back to school till doctors know what is happening, I don't even know how that would be measured. We know what's happening. There was a new coronavirus called COVID-19. There are different kinds of coronaviruses, and this one is about as deadly as the annual flu. But what's so interesting about it is that no one under the age of 60 really gets this disease. So I don't know why we wouldn't send our kids back to school. When you say till doctors know what is happening, there are many doctors with different points of view, and many doctors say go back to school. Lisa Proust, $2. Ezra, you are the best. Thank you for all you do. Well, that's nice of you to say. I apologize for the preceding 25 minutes. Unjust on Trudeau, $5. I just got a big order of Rebel merch, and I'm stoked. My only issue is the mug I got was made in China. Hope you guys can find another mug supplier. Well, thank you for bringing that to our attention. It's all done out of house. We don't do that ourselves. I wonder if it's possible to find a made in Canada or made in America mug. Thank you for that info, though. Muzzle Flash, $5 Australian. Would you flip a coin if you would lose 50% of your money and belongings and never get to see your children get married in 2020? Oh, I see what you're saying. You're saying there's a 50% chance of divorce and then you'll lose your stuff and your kids. Listen, I understand pessimism and lowering expectations, but surely where there's life, there's hope. And what's the old saying? It's better to have loved and lost than never to have lost at all. Is that how that goes? Maybe I have that wrong. Damon the Dam, it's $5. Only an Albertan guy can fix a feminist. Lived experience. Isn't that interesting? You know, we have a great supporter who actually runs a specialty dating site. I don't know if you know that. I wonder if he would set up a Rebel dating site. We've got a friend and ally supporter who runs, so this is his business. I really like that Lockdown Skeptics dating site, because if you are willing to publicly identify as a skeptic, you have thought things through. You're probably much more interesting than someone who's going along mindlessly. And I think that's, I don't think I could, I mean, maybe there's no dates going on right now anyways. Have a Zoom date. That sounds great. Maybe there's no dating going on at all. But I mean, listen, I'm an old man stuck in my ways, but I don't know how I would survive the singles scene today between the AOC repeaters and the Bernie Sanders and the white Black Lives Matter and the pandemic mask lover. I just think I would go mad. I would want the MAGA hat to scare away 90% of people. And sure, I'm fishing in a much smaller pond, but at least I'm not going to go crazy. I like that lockdown skeptics idea. Truth on the Wind, $5. MISC showed up in April with over 500 U.S. young people suffering with it today and 10 dead so far, 0.2%. It is growing, all end up in the hospital from it. Okay, thanks. I'm not familiar with that. I'll have to look into it. I already read Gold Star, Rebel Luxury Skincare by Ezra Levant. Yeah, you too can look this good. It's hard. It's hard. I spend a lot of time on fitness. Fitness pizza in my mouth. I've told that once or twice. Jim Rant, $5. Thoughts on bombshell emails released by Pierre P. showing Trudeau lied under oath about when he knew about We Contract and Ben Chin involvement in interference. I've only seen one of those emails this morning. I was doing other things. But of course Trudeau lied. Is there anyone in the country who doesn't know he's a liar yet? I think the people who know he's the liar the most are those who work with him. I haven't read all those emails. I read one this morning that I read several times because it was so interesting. Me C, $1, thank you. Mike Mayer, $5 says, thanks for all the support, People versus Predators. No problem. We're just tweaking that video and re-uploading it today. Ferris Bueller, $20, flattenthefear.com. Flatten the Fear, an excellent source on everything China virus, COVID-19 fact versus fiction, Love Rebel News, and you, Ezra, thank you. Well, I love you in a fraternal way, because as I said at great length early in the show, I'm off the market. Hillary Wah, $5. Any thoughts on the last 2 days of the Democratic Convention? I watched a little bit of it, including AOC's endorsement of Bernie Sanders, which made me chuckle. I know it's normal to do that, but it was quite something that there was no mention of Joe Biden at all. Chris K, $5. Drop the likes, guys. Thank you. Sneaky Beaver, $10. Still watching as I'm 28, single, having cat, my own house, job security. I fear internet dating a lot. Since last time I ran away, it was a setup. I need someone trustworthy that won't backstab me. All right, Sneaky Beaver, thank you for saying that. I don't know if you're a boy or a girl. There's no substitute for meeting people in person and getting to know them. And, you know, trustworthiness in personal affairs of the heart, is not a province of the left or the right. It's just a people thing. So I was joking around a lot, but I would say get back out there. 28 is still so young. You're in the prime of life. So I wish you good luck, and don't be deterred. Eric Partnan, $5. We print mugs in Newmarket. We even sent Ezra one, printmugs.com, but it's cheaper in China, just being honest. Yeah, of course it is. Spear Thrower, £2. Heard quantum financial system is replacing fiat. You're talking about currency. Of course, Bitcoin is having a bit of a revival these days, isn't it? Lewis Talbot, £10. Could you make a prediction about Conservative Party leader? Surely Peter MacKay's disastrous campaign running away from Cian Bexley and Andrew Lawton means he won't win. Would love to hear your prediction. Lewis, the way that the Conservative Party of Canada selects its leader is a very obscure and labyrinthine process. By that I mean, it's not one member, one vote. It's every one of the 338 electoral districts in Canada is given, I think, 100 points or something like that. So if you have 100 members in a riding, each member's worth 1 point. But if you have 1,000 members in a riding, and I could be wrong on this, this is how I recall it. If you have 1,000 members in that same riding, each member is worth 1/10 of a point. So there are some places in Canada, Western Canada, some parts of Ontario, BC, maybe Saskatchewan, where you have over 1,000 members, and in terms of time and money and resources and organizers, it would be much more valuable for, let's say, Peter MacKay to go through 10, 20, 30 small Quebec riding associations where there's 5 or 10 members. Like there's probably some parts of this country where there's less than 50 Conservative Party members. Go there, sign them up, sign up new people, and you'll have a great advantage over people who are strong in Calgary, Edmonton, Red Deer, Regina, Saskatoon, Surrey, you know, stuff like that. So it's an uneven playing field, and you don't really know the lay of the land until voting day. I think Peter MacKay is acting like he's the front runner. I think he spent the most money. I think he's the hollowest of the candidates. He's an empty suit. I don't think he actually knows why he's running. But he's certainly confident. I remember when he shouted at Keane, "I'm winning." It wasn't a shout, it just seemed like a shout. I'm afraid he's going to win, and I'm afraid for two reasons. Because he's not a true conservative, so he doesn't have the ideological opposition we need to Trudeau. And I think he's a terrible campaigner who will turn off huge parts of the party base. So I'm worried about that. Lewis Talbot's, I already read that. Unjust on Trudeau, $2. With pro-rogue, Justin Trudeau will be off more than 6 months. Isn't that the truth? Isn't that the truth? Well, it's 12:35, so I went through my dating advice, my skincare regime, my tips for Tinder, Grindr, JDate, Friendster, Bumble, Plenty of Fish, AOL.com, AOL Singles, GeoCities. That's where our website is. Covered all those bases. I want to shift gears now, okay? We got a lot of things here. You know, I've been a little bit silly today. A little bit silly and a little bit sexy. Would you not agree? I mean, talking about my skincare regime, giving advice to people on how to get married, taking a personal interest in our staff, Mocha, Yankee. Oh, did you find that clip from Much Ado About Nothing? Where it's this, it's a speech about, not the perfect woman, it's if you know the story, Much Ado About Nothing, Benedict and Beatrice are frenemies. He's a young soldier, she's a young maiden, and they quarrel. She's got a wicked tongue. She's always quick with the quip and the insult, and she's very funny, but it cuts. And Benedict and Beatrice fight like cats and dogs. Well, doesn't everybody see they should be together? And it's one of my favorite Shakespeare plays. It's so funny. And one of the things I'll say about this play, it was written 400 years ago, more than that. But the language, and the trouble with Shakespeare is the language, because it's so beautiful, you want to read it, but it's Middle English, right? I mean, it's 400 years old. So not all the words make sense to the ear of someone in 2020. But this play, for some reason, the words in it are the most understandable, I think, especially when delivered by great actors like Emma Thompson, Kenneth Branagh. They play the lead roles of Beatrice and Benedict. Denzel Washington's in there too. I think Keanu Reeves in there. Michael Keaton's in there. It is an all-star cast. Some other Hollywood stars I can't remember right now. And so they play a trick. Give me just another minute on this, okay? So here's this young duo that are always fighting, and so they're brought together for a wedding, and a different wedding. And so their families say, let's play a trick on Beatrice and Benedict. Let's play a practical joke on them. Let's tell Benedict that Beatrice likes him. And let's tell Beatrice that Benedict likes her. And let's see if we can get them to fall in love over the course of a weekend. But since they're so cynical, these two, we've got to set it up in a way that they won't suspect it. Because if we just say, oh, she likes you, oh, he likes you, they won't believe it. So, and since we're demonetized, what the heck, right? There's this scene where Benedict's out in the garden, and they send Beatrice out to get him for lunch. And she does not want to go and get him for lunch. And they say, go. And can you play where they play the trick on him, and then when she comes out with the knife, and then afterwards when he says, basically, like he falls in love almost immediately. And he says, you know, people are going to make fun of me because for so long I railed against marriage. And he's got this one line, he says, when I said I would die a bachelor, what I meant was I didn't think I would live long enough. Like he's going through all these, he's just imagining all the jokes and the quips, and it's so funny. And Emma Thompson was so lovely back then. I'm thinking this movie's 30 years old now. And Kenneth Branagh was a combination of sort of handsome but also sort of goofy. And it was just so well done. I think of all the Shakespeare movies out there, this scene in this movie is not only the most laugh out loud funny, but it's just it's the best manifestation of the old works into the modern ear. It's so well spoken by Beatrice and Benedict, played by Thompson and Branagh. You know, let's play the first one where Beatrice is not in the clip, where they play the trick on Benedict. And then let's play the one where Beatrice comes with the knife. Well, let's play 3 clips here. So let's start with the trick. Go ahead. Okay. Justin's going to find those. So yeah, we're taking a little bit of a detour today, aren't we? I'll read some super chats. Paul Sanders, 10 pounds. Hi, Ezra. Toby Young, who is a conservative journalist and commentator and free speech advocate, set up the Free Speech Union here in the UK. You should look him up. He'd make a good guest on your show. Paul, thank you for that. Not only should I look him up, I have looked him up. And I think I made a £250 donation. I think I'm like a founding member of the Free Speech Union or something. 250 quid, that's a lot of money in Canadian mini bucks. Last time I was in London on March 12th, I called the number and I left him a message. He didn't get back to me, either he was too busy or whatever, or maybe he's scared of me. But I did leave him a voice message just for coffee. I said I'm in London for the day, and he didn't get back to me. Maybe he's afraid. Okay, I hear in my ear that we have a long clip. Let's just play parts of it. So this is, let's play where they trick Benedict. Because if they just went up to Benedict and said, Beatrice loves you, first of all, it would be too on the nose. So they have to pretend to have a conversation about it that he accidentally overhears. Otherwise, he would never believe it. Can we start at that, where they're in the field telling the joke? Give it a shot and I'll let you know.
See you where Benedict hath hid himself.
Very well, my lord.
Come, Balthasar. We'll hear that song again.
Now divine air, now is his soul ravished. Is it not strange that sheep's guts should hale souls out of men's bodies?
So I'm going to cut in and out here because I don't want a copyright strike. I don't care if we're demonetized, but I don't want to strike. So understand what's going on here. He's behind that hedge. They know it, but they're pretending they don't. So they're going to say, let's go out into the garden and pretend it's just us talking, and let's make sure he overhears us but doesn't know that we know that he's there. Okay, play a bit more.
Thou singest to Eleanor.
And he had been a dog that should have howled thus, they'd have hanged him.
Come hither, Leonato. What was it you told me of today? That your niece, Beatrice, was in love with Signor Benedict?
I did never think that lady would have loved any man.
No, nor I neither. But most wonderful that she should so dote on Signor Benedict, whom she hath in all outward behaviors seemed ever to abhor. Is't possible?
Maybe she doth but counterfeit.
Faith, like enough.
Oh, God! Counterfeit! There was never counterfeit of passion came so near the life of passion as she.
So I hear Beatrice loved Benedict. No, yes. Are you sure it's not counterfeit? Are you sure it's not fake? Really? Such counterfeit. Play a little bit more. Play a little bit. Oh, it comes alive. The language, it's a little bit obscure. Play a little bit more.
20 times a night, and there will she sit in her smock till she have writ a sheet of paper.
Then down upon her knees she falls, weeps, sobs, beats her heart, tears her hair, curses, oh, sweet Benedict, God give me patience.
She does indeed. My daughter says so. My daughter is sometime afeard that she will do a desperate outrage to herself. It is very true.
It were good that Benedict knew of it.
What end? He would make but a sport of it and torment the poor lady worse.
I'm sorry for her.
I pray you.
She should tell him. No, she'll never tell him. He would mock her. Give me another minute.
Hero thinks surely she will die. For she says she will die if he love her not, and she will die ere she make her love known, and she will die if he woo her.
If she should make tender of her love, 'tis very possible he'll scorn it. For the man, as you know all, hath a contemptible spirit.
Oh!
All right. So this goes on for another minute. And he can't believe it. He says, I would think it's a prank, but the old man is in it. So that's like the father of Beatrice's best friend or something. So it goes on and they say, oh, he'll scorn it. Oh, you know him. He's of a contemptible spirit. Oh, he's so mean to her. He would mock her. She doesn't dare say that she actually loves him because he will use that against her. It's so sad. Yeah, let's go back into lunch. And he hears this and he genuinely thinks that they didn't know he was there. So he thinks he's stumbled upon this information, which if they had come to him directly, they would never believe, he would never have believed it. But because he thinks he overheard it, and because the old man was there, so it's not just his buddies playing a prank, he's convinced of it. And they talk a little bit about her fine qualities. She's beautiful, she's virtuous, and he's convinced. He says, oh my God, she loves me. And then his speech, his soliloquy, after the guys go back, can you tee it up for when they go back in? Because his little soliloquy is so great. It's about why someone who was so stubbornly single, and when I say a confirmed bachelor, I mean that's code word for gay these days. But no, a dedicated bachelor, that's the phrase I would use. Like he was a swashbuckling hero soldier who probably had a girl in every town. There's no way he would get pinned down, and certainly not married, certainly not to Beatrice. And so he hears that this woman loves him and that she's sad because she can't tell him. And it touches his heart, and he falls in love immediately, which I find credible. And listen to what he says. And Yankee, this is for you, because he now lists the reasons to get married. And Shakespeare is so good at that. I tell you, if you read the sonnets, and I think there's, 150 something of them. What are the sonnets about? Romantic love? Yeah. But like the first dozen or two are about why Shakespeare's patron should have children. Like Shakespeare doesn't just talk about murder and lust and romance and things. He talks about everyday things like falling in love, getting married, and why you should have kids. I encourage you to read maybe we'll do a show where we read the sonnets, where I read my favorite sonnets. There's some sonnets that change your thinking on the whole world. And I got to tell you, these sonnets, again, written 400 plus years ago, his arguments for why you should have kids, there is no argument he doesn't offer. In 400 years, no one's come up with new ideas that Shakespeare didn't know. There is no one that we know of who has ever had a keener grasp on the human condition. And You know what? We're going to do a monologue. We're going to do a live stream one day that is nothing but Shakespeare sonnets on why people should get married and have kids. Because you will say that's an indisputable, irrefutable argument that just happens to be in a lovely sonnet written by the bard 400 years ago. We're going to do that. Maybe we'll even do it on Friday. Let's get back to the clip. So Benedict just hears that Beatrice is in love with him, but she would never tell him. He's completely convinced because he doesn't know they knew he was there, and the old man is in on it. And now listen to this.
This can be no trick. The conference was sadly born. They have the truth of this from Hero. Love me! Why? It must be requited. I hear how I am censured. They say I will bear myself proudly if I perceive the love come from her. They say, too, that she will rather die than give any sign of affection. I did never think...
That's so funny. That was such a good strategic line. She would rather die than give any sign of it. That's such an important trick that they played, an important little line that Shakespeare put in there, because when she next presents, obviously she still hates him, right? So he's going to say, oh, well, that explains it. She would rather die than let on that she likes me. That's why she's so mad. Keep listening and then watch when she comes out with a knife. Take a look.
I must not seem proud. Happy are they that hear their detractions and can put them to mending. They say the lady is fair, 'tis a truth, I can bear them witness, and virtuous, 'tis so, I cannot reprove it, and wise, but for loving me, by my troth, it is no addition to her wit, nor no great argument of her folly, for I will be horribly in love with her. I may chance.
Now, he just realized what he's done. He realized that he's in love with her and he's going to marry her. Uh-oh, what about the last 5 years of him saying he'll never fall in love, he'll never get married, the bachelor's life's for him, and certainly not Beatrice? How's he going to come over that? And these next lines are perhaps the funniest in the entire play. And then I'm going to show you when she comes out. So keep going, pump up the volume, just listen to this.
And remnants of wit broken on me because I have railed so long against marriage. But does not the appetite alter? A man loves the meat in his youth that he cannot endure in his age. Shall these quips and sentences and paper bullets of the brain awe a man from the career of his humor? No! The world must be peopled. When I said I would die a bachelor, I did not think I should live till I were married.
That's so funny.
Here comes Beatrice. By this day, she's a fair lady. I do spy some marks of love in her.
She looks so loving there. I do spy some marks of love upon her. And I know I'm going long on this, but I just want to play for you this banter when I said that Beatrice and Benedict fight like cats and dogs. So he's in love now. And he don't care. And there's nothing she can do to deter him, because he knows, because he heard it from the old man, that she would rather die than let it be known that she's in love. So the harder she protests that she doesn't like him, the more he knows she likes him. It is so funny. And I do believe that men fall in love faster than women. And I do believe that a trick like this would work. I mean, in my case, we just followed rules 17 and 34 in that how-to guide. But here, this is true love that Shakespeare planted in Benedict's mind. I want you to see the banter, because she's fighting, but he's not fighting anymore. He's taking the blows and saying, oh, that's love. Oh, no, that doesn't hurt. That's love. Just like when the way she comes marching out of there is so funny. I do spy some marks of love upon her. Play a little bit more. This is banter.
Against my will, I am sent to bid you come in to dinner.
There, Beatrice. I thank you for your pains.
I took no more pains for those thanks than you take pains to thank me. If it had been painful, I would not have come.
You take pleasure, then, in the message?
Yea, just so much as you may take upon a knife's point. You have no stomach, Signor? Fare you well.
Ha! Against my will, I am sent to bid you come in to dinner. There's a double meaning in that.
No, there ain't, mate. No, there ain't. I think it's the funniest of the Shakespeare plays. I think it's the easiest to understand. And would you agree with me that the casting of Emma Thompson and Kenneth Branagh, who I think were married at the time actually, was perfect? And I think they really, I mean, you can read a joke, but when the joke is told, there's a double meaning there. I do spy some marks of love upon her. Oh, some people will make fun of me. Just my favorite Shakespeare movie. There's some great ones out there. So there's some great Macbeths. Of course, so many Romeo and Juliets, too many to even name. There's some good Hamlets out there too. But that is by far my favorite of the Shakespeare movies. I can't believe there's still 756 people watching. Maybe they just sort of opened the web page and went away to get lunch or something and didn't close the web page up, because I can't believe anyone's watching other than you, Justin, because you sort of have to. Yeah, and he says he's barely watching. Fair enough. Truth on the Win. $5. Elmer's son will get the win. Pete gave Stephen the crown, and payback is here. Please research MISC for its nasty, very nasty to people. I see you help. You say this is payback. No, it's not. Stephen Harper isn't endorsing anyone. Not that I've seen. I don't think he's endorsing Peter McKay. Have I missed that? Duck Bill Platitude, $10. Thank you. You're welcome. D. Mahalakai, $5. Most people never heard of mask exemptions. How about a Know Your Rights campaign, thinking of flyers distributed by volunteers? Well, that's a good idea. We have a website called maskexemption.ca. Can you call that up for a sec? Where every week we update it. So I think we added some new Newfoundland mask law or something. You can go to maskexemption.ca, yeah, and you can get a Toronto mask exemption card or one for every other city. The other ones are generic, but they point back to this website for Edmonton, for Ottawa, for New Brunswick, for airports, for Hamilton. So we have a chart there. You see that chart? That chart literally goes through, yeah, click it open. That chart literally goes to every jurisdiction. Looks like it's opening slowly there. In Canada, and it'll show you what the mask exemptions are in literally every jurisdiction in Canada, including one for airports and airplanes. Lewis Talbot, £10. Didn't realize the Conservative Party of Canada has such an absurd electoral system. Surely if McKay loses popular member vote but still wins the race, it will devastate a party and PPC will grow. Thanks, love, Rebel Media from the UK. The problem with the PPC, the People's Party of Canada, is that it didn't get a lot of votes last time, and it didn't get any seats. In fact, Maxime Bernier himself lost his seat. I like Maxime, and I like most of the policies that the PPC stands for. In fact, in the winter, I flew to Montreal to say hi to Maxime, and I visited him at his home studio, and we did a little interview there. I like the guy, but I haven't seen a lot of him lately. He still tweets from time to time. But the problem is when you're no longer in Parliament, not only do you lose the resources, the salary, the staff, the office, you lose the authority, you lose the standing. So now he's like me, he's a commentator. I like him, but I don't think the PPC is a force. It'll be interesting to see who wins the Conservative leadership, because do they try to reabsorb those activists who left? And it'll be interesting if Peter MacKay wins. I think the answer is clearly a no. I don't think he's interested in growing the tent. He wants to shrink it. He wants to kick out populists, nationalists, Christians, etc., real conservatives. He hates the rebel. If Aaron O'Toole wins, maybe it'll be a bit different. Chandler Michael, $5, supporting Rebel News from the USA. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that support. We had a big American project over the weekend, which was raising a legal defense fund for Millie Weaver, which last I checked, you want to go there and then we'll close up on this? I see it's 1 p.m. And I literally did not get to a single subject on the list today, because instead I indulged my own personal affection for Shakespeare and a bizarre tangent of giving dating advice to people. So yeah, look at that. Our legal defense fund has now crested $170,000. Just for an update for folks who are interested in that, I spoke with Millie Weaver again today by phone, and we are arranging the transfer of these funds to her for her use in her legal battles. So very pleased that she's out. She's renormalizing after a weekend in jail, and we'll give you an update when those funds are in her account, which should be very soon. Well, it's 1:01 p.m. Eastern Time. I apologize for everything that's happened, said, and done in the last 61 minutes. There are a couple of super chats I'm just going to read before saying goodbye. Chris Marchese, $2. Do you think there will be an election in the fall? Yes. Because I think Justin Trudeau might want to go when the Conservative leader is wobbly. I'm going to say it's a 50-50 chance. David Anderson, $5 today is fun and funny, makes a welcome change of pace, help us forget our horrible times. Thanks for the Much Ado reminder, always wanted to see it. You know, it is such a good movie. We're going to do a show on Shakespeare sonnets, and I don't care if it's just me and Justin. We're going to do it. Because you've got to know the real Shakespeare. And I always thought Shakespeare sonnets is just love poems. And there are a lot of those in there. But his advice to his 40-year-old friend, he's got a patron, 40 years old, which back then was pretty old. But his 40-year-old patron doesn't have kids yet. And Shakespeare's saying, you've got to have a family, mate. You've been this rambunctious man about town in London for 25 years, swashbuckling, rich, prince, whatever. You've just cut through this town like a knife. But how about settle down and have some kids? And then he makes the argument in a series of poems that are irrefutable. And I will read those to you another day. That's it for today. Oh, I see one more here. Kane and Mark, $5. I was in Banff. The card worked good. You have to wear a mask out of doors. So dumb, where's the science? There is no science. There is no science on the mask. Do we have an exemption rule on Banff? We'll have to check our page, maskexemption.ca. If we don't have the Banff exemption, I'll make sure it gets on there. I'm really glad to hear it worked well there. Most people who are enforcing these rules surely don't like to do it. What I hate the most about these mask bylaws is it turns every single shopkeeper into a cop. They don't want to be a cop. They want to be a person who deals with customers in a friendly way, not a you put on your mask or you go to jail kind of way. That's an unhuman snitch informant culture kind of thing. All right, with apologies for the preceding 64 minutes, this is Ezra Levant saying from here, what are you saying? We got a dog video. We got a dog video. I'm going to say goodbye to you now. But here's Justin and his specially curated dog video of his choosing. You and I will see it together for the first time. Here is a dog video.